opinions that are going to come out of tomorrow night based on how it looks. I mean, just look at the conversation we just had. What if Kuminga doesn't get to 20 minutes? What if Steph Curry looks tired? What if Klay Thompson shoots poorly? And what if they lose while GP2 is in street clothes? What if the rookies shine? What if they don't? We've reached one of those moments. It's just like going to the 18th hole at the Masters tied, or pitching a Game 7, if your name's Clayton Kershaw or something like that. Like, all of these opinions potentially shading the entire offseason come down to one basketball game. One basketball game where, who knows, Harrison Barnes could get hot and score 39 points. And that's it. That could end the season right there. And so I don't think that's dangerous because I don't think the Warriors will do that. But this is one of those moments. And it's it's fascinating because I think we should all admit it. Like, you sit there right now. If I asked you your opinion, forget the money for a second. Just
right.
Do you think it's smart? Should the Warriors have Klay Thompson on the team next year or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could that opinion change just tomorrow night?
No.
Okay.
No.
No?
No, for me, it comes down to the money, though.
3 for 17.
Fine.
1 for 7 from 3.
Klay is Klay.
Okay.
So, for me, it is about the money. So it's hard for me to separate the idea from the money because if Klay wants, $30 million a year, then no. But if Klay can, be satisfied with a contract that keeps them under the luxury tax and maybe allows them to sign somebody else, then yeah. I'd rather have Klay here than Klay be gone.
I'm with you.
Draymond's a different question.
Well, what do you mean?
I would love for Draymond to be gone. Gone. Draymond, go bye-bye.
That's the last interview he does with you.
Well, and the last interview he did with us was during the pandemic, which he did.
Oh, I know.
Because he was sponsored by Subway.
Got it.
So he has not come on the station, I don't think, since. And that was Steiny, Guru, and Dibs. But if they're going to be this team, 10 seed, 8 seed, 7 seed, whatever, I'm good with Draymond being somewhere else. I've had enough of Draymond Green being a Warrior and going through what we've gone through with Draymond Green. The last 2 years, Draymond Green has sabotaged. One with a punch, one with a choke, one with a flail. And so for me, it's a question of, if you're not going to be that team anyway, I'd rather have a team that I enjoy watching, and I don't enjoy watching Draymond Green anymore.
He ruined 2 seasons in a row.
Basically.
If they lose this week.
Right.
Or maybe even if they didn't.
Exactly. Even if they win 2 games.
You feel that way?
Yeah. Yeah. Last year he created a certain situation with Jordan Poole that I think permeated the whole team. And, this year he missed 20 games. So, I don't know if you could say that he ruined 2 seasons, but he definitely made 2 seasons more difficult than they should have been.
I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I look at that one and it's this is a little bit of like the knife is sharp on both ends. Right? Because it's like he ruined this season because he wasn't there. But then the same person, if you're anti-Draymond, will line up all the times that he wasn't there and be like, look how well they play without you. Well, it's like, okay, if you play that well without him, then missing 20 games doesn't ruin the season. Or even if I just look at it at face value, you ruined the season because you weren't there. Well, that means that if you're not there, you're not good. So why would the Warriors want you not there? You know what I mean? That's the power that Draymond has always had.
Right.
The second you say, we got to move on from Draymond, you become a worse basketball team. And that's just true. That's why Steph has felt the way he's felt. It's why the organization has behaved the way they've behaved. It's unforgivable, but we forgive him.
Right. We forgive him again.
Yeah, it's unforgivable.
You forgive him because he's under
contract.
Him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right.
I look at the team this year, 46 wins. If he would have played all the games, aside from, whatever injury and, rest and whatnot, they probably would have 50 wins and they wouldn't be in the play-in. But because of him, they're in the play-in. So
I don't know, man. I again, especially when you look at it this way, I think, is it 5 games separates the 4 seed to the 10 seed?
Right.
I think every single one of those teams right now, like you can hear when the Sacramento, because now, of course, with this game being set up, a lot of those who cover the Kings have been coming on 95.7 The Game all day.
Right.
You can hear it from them. They all think the exact same thing we do. You know, if this, and then if that,
right,
and then
right.
over here, and if I'm right and I carry the 2, then the Kings would have been the 5.
Right.
That's the way if the Pelicans had just not laid an egg yesterday, they'd have been the 6. They wouldn't even be in this tournament. But they are. So, I don't know. Sometimes I pause with the whole, like, the Warriors should be the 5 seed because they blew a lot of games. Yeah, they did. But blowing a lot of games is part of what you do when you're not worthy of being a top 5 seed. That's what happens.
Right.
That's why games are 48 minutes long.
Exactly, but I look at why they blew a lot of games, and I look at why they, didn't have Draymond Green for a month or more, and it's because of his inability to control himself, and it's been a theme. It's been ongoing, and so I think about next year, and if I had a choice between yes, Clay or no, and yes, Draymond or no, it'd be yes, Clay and no, Draymond. But I know Draymond would have to be traded, and that's wildly unlikely, but for now, it's focusing on Sacramento.
Yep.
They should win tomorrow. I mean, they should, right? Should win tomorrow.
Well, we say that on paper. I can't really tell you if they should have won a game until I watch the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to come out and say you should have won if, 2 of Sacramento's 3-point shooters go absolutely bananas.
Right.
Like, sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? When the Warriors went to play in LA the other night, like, should the Lakers have won? I don't know. I mean, you could argue that they should have in that they lost by like 12 points and the Warriors had a record-breaking number of 3-pointers.
Right.
So if they just have a normal shooting game, the Lakers would have won that game. But I'll never say you should if people just absolutely go crazy. And that's what is both nerve-wracking and totally beautiful about this play-in tournament. Like, I wonder how many of you can do this. And I think that were they talking about this earlier? Guru was talking about, one word. How would you kind of describe? And a lot of people look at tomorrow night and you go, you're nervous.
Right.
I get that. Or do you see it from the other lens, which I guess maybe is more of a national lens? Dude, this is great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Western Conference is just absurd this year. And this is going to be great theater, and it's going to be that much more sort of cherished if the Warriors come out of this. This will be completely like the Warriors and the NBA have figured out an equation this year where if all they do is get to the first round, it'll be memorable.
Right.
You'll be like, remember when the Warriors made the first round? That was great. I made popcorn. It was really fun. They made the first round.
They made the first round.
They lost OKC in 6, but it was great.
Yeah.
Like, it will be that if that happens. If there are 2 games this week, are going to absolutely be as tense as the NBA gives you.
Well, it'll be that for whoever makes it through the play-in.
Absolutely.
For the 2 teams that make it through the play-in, certainly the 7-8 loser, if they beat the 9-10 winner, it'll be, oh, wow, we made it to the playoffs. But for me, it's bigger than that. And, the Warriors, if they don't make it through this week and get into an actual series, we can ask hard questions about that when we need to ask them. But right now, I look at Tuesday, tomorrow, and I think this is one you should win. And yes, a team can get hot, and you can be cold. And yes, one game, you never know. But on paper, and even in actuality,
they're better than the Kings.
They are better than the Kings.
Right now.
Yes,
right now,
exactly.
They're better than the Kings.
No doubt.
And the Kings are they're less adorable this year, by the way. They're still adorable.
Why?
Because they don't have confidence this year.
Ooh.
You have to understand.
It's not the first time, too.
No,
either.
But what was adorable last year was all their little, we're gonna.
Sure.
You're not gonna.
And the beam and all that.
Yeah. Like, they're so excited to be there. And now it's angsty again. It's like, we're hurt, and we're the 9, and we're the underdog, and the refs, we hate the refs. It's all the same thing that Kings fans have been saying for 40 years, is what it sounds like. It's less adorable.
Right.
Last year was just so cute. People were in the street with beers, and there were lights, and they were just like, this is great.
And they were the 3 seed, too.
They were the 3 seed.
It was like, wow, we might actually, no.
With 2 more wins than they got this year, where they're the 9 seed.
Wow.
They were the 3 seed.
2 more wins.
With 48 wins.
Jeez.
And this year they've got 46, and they're barely in this dance.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Warriors had 2 more wins also, right?
No, the Warriors had 2 less last year.
Right.
2 more this year.
Yeah, that's my point.
But went backwards. They went from the 6 to the 10.
Yeah, with 2 more wins.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean about the Western Conference. This is one to remember. And it's going to be the best play-in tournament that has ever happened, although this is year 3?
Year 4, I think.
Year 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. It'll be the best one ever. Like, this is when Ye sat down and went, what do you think about this idea? When they did that 5 years ago, this was what they hoped would happen. This.
Not the East? With a 36-win Atlanta going up against 39-win Chicago?
Not as compelling.
No.
Not quite as compelling.
No.
But this, where you ended up with 10 teams that were clearly better than all of the other teams.
Even 11.
Right? Well, yes.
Houston was a 500 team.
500 team, but
they'd be the 9th seed in the East.
Right, but the rest, the 10 teams are 5 games clear of Houston.
Right.
So clearly you had 10 good teams. The records are all good. You've got great players. Like, just listen, the play-in tournament alone.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Look at the list, the Olympic team that you could build off of these.
On play-in teams only.
Just the play-in. Right? Just the Western Conference play-in. You could build an absolute Hall of Fame epic roster that would blow you away.
Right.
Easily, you could win a gold medal with players off of these 4 teams.
Ingram, Zion, LeBron, AD, Steph, Clay, Draymond.
Keep going.
De'Aaron.
Don't say Sabonis.
Well, he's not American.
He could be a bench warmer.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
He's not American.
Let's go to Ray in San Rafael. Ray, thank you for calling. We'd love to hear from you today. 888-957-9570. Hey, Ray, what are you doing?
Oh, I was thinking about 2 things. One is remember that early season tournament? I forget what they even call it.
Oh, the mid-season?
The in-season.
Yeah, the in-season tournament.
IST.
In-season tournament. I mean, what are your thoughts on that these days? It's like, what was that,
Do you remember who won?
I think, I don't know. Was it Denver?
No, it was not.
LeBron James.
Do you remember? It was the Lakers, and do you remember who they beat?
Didn't they beat Sacramento?
No, that's incorrect as well.
New Orleans.
The New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's right. It is an IST rematch.
It was Indiana. They beat Indiana.
No, you're right. They beat New Orleans and then Indiana. Yeah, New Orleans was in there too.
Come on.
It was the Indiana Pacers in the end. But anyway, it is an IST rematch tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And it is it's an Anthony Davis trade rematch tomorrow night. Pelicans and Lakers. You throw the records out. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram revenge game. Here we go.
Totally.
Yeah. Ray, did you have more?
The other thing was just you kind of see it in business these days, but fractional leadership. And you'll see that kind of what the war, like, there's different parts of the season where people stood up and, carried the Warriors for a couple of weeks. That doesn't play that doesn't do well for, into the playoffs. It's like, who are we at this point? But I think they're on the upswing, and if they can hit the right stride, they might go pretty far.
Ray, we'll see. I mean, that's got to be, there's one word right now that I've decided, it's the mantra word for the Warriors for 2023-24. Ready? If.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with hope.
Nope.
If.
Every single sentence that you say has to start with an if phrase.
If Wiggins can play at the elite level,
they can go a long way.
If Clay can get hot from 3,
they can go on a run.
If Steph can be an MVP Steph,
they're as good as anybody.
If Draymond cannot get thrown out.
Well, now that's funny.
Sorry.
But that's what you have to do.
No, you're right.
Right? And you're going to have to do it like 8 times in a row. Or just once, and the Kings will have more points than the Warriors tomorrow night.
No.
It's possible. It's absolutely possible. So how is this